Hey, everybody. Once again, I saw something on Facebook that drives me crazy, and that is this. People are in these Facebook groups, and they're ginormous groups. They have tens or hundreds of thousands of members sometimes, and they are getting and giving very bad advice. And the advice is this. They are telling people to do a blood test when they are using topical hormones. And I want to explain to you that that is not okay. I want to share this guide. It's from ZRT Labs. And ZRT is a laboratory that has done 20 million or more samples by now. They do saliva testing, blood testing, dried urine testing, and blood spot testing, as you can see on this table. Here is what I want to clarify. Steroids are the same thing as hormones. They are fat soluble. They are not soluble in water. Because of that, you cannot use topical steroids and get accurate results in serum or blood. If you are on no hormone replacement at all, it doesn't matter what testing you do. You can do a serum or blood test. You can do a saliva test. You can do dried urine, or you can do a blood spot, a dried blood spot, if you are on no external hormones. But once you start taking hormones, then you have to choose the correct delivery system. So if you're taking hormones by mouth, you can still do a blood test. You can do saliva testing. You can do urine testing, or you can do a blood spot. But here is the important thing. If you are doing topical hormones, you no longer can do a serum test accurately. You can still do saliva testing, and you can still do dried blood spot. You cannot do urine, or you cannot do serum testing, because the hormone levels are not reflective of tissue uptake. You will underestimate the amount of hormone that you have in your body tissues when you do a serum, a blood, or a dried urine test. And it's a little difficult to understand. And it took me quite a while to kind of figure this out. But imagine I have a little container, and it has oil, and it has a water with food coloring. Your hormones are going to be fat soluble, meaning that they will show up in the oil part. In the blood part, only 1% of your hormones are going to show up in water. The problem is that if you're producing your own hormones, 99% of your hormones are going to be stuck to proteins like sex hormone binding globulin, albumin, and other things. So when you're looking at blood levels or serum levels, you're looking at all the hormone that's stuck to everything. But if you're looking at levels in, if you were able to look at levels in your tissue, they would be at least 100 times more in the tissue. When you look at saliva, it is also water soluble, but you can accurately guess how much is in saliva because you're looking at the 1% without being stuck to other proteins. Whereas in the blood, at least 99% is going to be stuck to other proteins. But here's the issue. It doesn't really matter how much hormone is in the bloodstream because most of it's not active. It's stuck to proteins where it's not working. So the only active protein or the only active hormones are the ones that are in your tissues that are that are binding to receptors, turning on your DNA, turning on protein synthesis, and being active. Most of the hormones in your bloodstream are not active because they're tightly bound to proteins. And when you're doing topical creams, what will happen is the levels that are in your fats will be very, very, very high before you start seeing it in your bloodstream. So I know that doesn't probably make sense very well. I'm kind of working on how to explain this so it's really, really simple and easy to understand. But the bottom line is, if you're using topical hormones, you can look at saliva, you can look at dried blood spot, but you can't look at serum or dried urine and get accurate levels. So that's it for right now.